Welcome back, my friends, to the new season of the Royal League, Emperor Division. As a small reminder, these are the results of the last season. Zaru won it in this Nailbiter finish that I covered, and I managed to end up on the second place, which I'm very happy with. pv4 on the third, and maybe quote unquote, the upset of the group was Weidenbaum getting relegated, but that happens very quickly. Everyone is very close to each other in those, in terms of strength here, and yeah, some unlucky finishes and you get relegated. It already happened to me also as well. Yeah, that was the finish. So let's take a look at this season's lineup in the league. We have first of all, we have to accept that trying to view Arne in this list will automatically include Barnes. And I have not figured out how to not do it. There's definitely a way, but I didn't figure it out. So Barnes is not part of the Royal League, but Arne is. He managed to, join the club of the Grandmaster Division. Not Grandmaster, what is it? Royal League Emperor Division, yes. And there's Kolo, a player I've never heard of actually, and he has won his last 13 games that he played in 2-player, so that's quite some streak. Yeah, Arne is rank 9 on 2-player ratings, and actually I think rank 10 in overall. So he entered the top 10 here. And we have Yaop from China. Gross is still here, I am still here, pv4 Zaru, and Martin Pischer. And yeah, again, we see how well actually the Glico estimates performance, also tournament performance. The only one missing here to make it perfect is Weidenbaum. So it's a bit sad. But yeah, enough with that. Let's go to the first game. It's against pv4. Let's see. Yes. And yeah, let's just go right into the game. pv4, very strong player. It's a player who plays very versatile. I would say it's a big strength of him. It's hard to read. It's not like he plays a certain style. He just plays with the flow. It's very close to an optimum in terms of strategic approach in my book. Goes with Engineering Genius here. That leaves me with a bit of a choice, and I quickly arrived to the conclusion that I didn't want the Colossus here since it doesn't look too good, since there's no Suez Canal. That's, in my book, the most important thing to look at, whether you want to take a Colossus or not. If I take it, he gets the library for free, like this. I can actually force it to stay on 3 civil actions and then maybe grab it for 2 turn after that. So my turn looks... This one is the better leader of those anyway, I suppose, and then I just take Frugality and not Colossus. And yeah, now it's maybe an interesting question what leader he settles for. He goes for the Moses for 1 civil action. I don't think there's a huge argument to be made to wait for Ashoka or something, or grab Sun Tzu for 2. I guess, I mean, going Sun Tzu Colossus can work with Shishka Barbarossa. It can actually work. Also, there's an Eleanor. But the big payoff in my book is the Suez Canal, and that's not there, and then it's maybe just not the best approach. Maybe if Sun Tzu was 1 here, on 1 civil action here, I would prefer that, Colossus Sun Tzu, but like this, it wasn't, and then it gets a bit inefficient to do it like that. Yeah, I think it would still be an option, but I would also go for this Moses here. And standard stuff. So here we already get spoiled. Code of Laws drops, and another wonder. And both informations together mean that I'm not willing to pay 2 civil actions for library here. Just leave it in a row on the row, and then if he takes it, I get the St. Pete's. I think it's still a pretty good wonder, and especially in 2-player, it's not that likely that it dies to Ravages. So if it doesn't die to Ravages, it's super good. That means I'm more or less free to pay 3 civil actions for Code of Laws here. I just miss out on populating basically and electing Hippocrates, which is a bit annoying maybe, but it's not that big a deal. Depends on when the H1 leaders drop anyway, if I even miss out on any value. Like this. So we draw inhabited territory and the phalanx. pv4, then I think it's an interesting question whether he goes for this library or even then St. Pete's, but I guess I would go for the library. I don't see this being one civil action, worth to pay 1 more civil action over that wonder, I guess. He reveals development of science, which is super nice for me since I took Code of Laws for 3 and now I'm 1 step closer to developing that. It's actually a pretty big swing in this situation, I think, between revealing something like the free religion for him and revealing the 2 science. Probably the best thing he could reveal for me here. And indeed does take the Library of Alexandria, populates, builds a philosophy, still standard stuff. And here, yes, no pause, no. Is it possible to not see the first civil action? Here we are again. First civil action, but okay, that's not the big surprise, is the taking the Basilica. And then I actually, before the turn, also last turn already considered this alchemy to be somewhat important. There is Shakespeare in the deck, so printing press is also not an unimportant tech, but there's not this huge payoff in H3 in form of internet or Hollywood. And I think this is a game where I personally wouldn't overcommit on Shakespeare or printing presses. So I think in such games, and especially for me now with the Basilica, the alchemy has a lot of value. But the second alchemy dropped, and I simply couldn't imagine that pv4 wants to pay an extra civil action just to deny it from me. Or from me. Then I could still go for the printing press very reasonably in this game. So I don't need to take it here and can do a standard turn. Building this philosophy is super important for getting the Code of Laws out next turn. It was very nice that it dropped here. Otherwise, I would really have to consider what I, probably not elect, what I have to sacrifice. Probably not elect the leader in order to take the alchemy in hand. Was a consideration. Like this, I don't have to do that. Draw heavy cavalry and strategic territory. Yeah, seeding these territories, I didn't seed the inhabited. I didn't see how my turn would get improved in any way by opening something, and also I just want to be cautious with those territories. Can be quite swingy to just put them in. Development of agriculture revealed. pv4 takes iron for 2 here. It's an early island, he does iron, he does have the science for it, he can just go for it immediately. It's pretty good timing for him, pretty good. That does indeed mean I get the alchemy, and I do indeed not take the printing press in this game, even although there's Shakespeare Darwin. So maybe that's a little questionable actually, but I kind of felt like I don't have the people for printing press. I kind of felt like alchemy is a more stable tech in this setup here. Very intuition based. If I could look at it again from now, might be that the printing press is actually better. It's Good question, which I don't have an honest answer. I can understand this alchemy pick, so that's what I went with. Take also irrigation, also populate very awkwardly. My last selection was to develop the Code of Laws here, and then just populate again. Don't even take it in hand. I think I also needed to populate against to avoid corruption. Yes, I think so. So that leaves pv4 with the printing press. Maybe something I didn't consider carefully enough. So now he has the printing press. He has some extra guys, thanks to Moses, and still access to the extra guys of Moses. I think it's a game where you once again see how valuable is the word I was searching. How valuable the thing is, versatility is. My English today. How valuable versatility is in this game. So I think the other day I saw a Discord screenshot, and the question, what would you do in this situation? And then there were Moses and Hanging Garden available in the initial set of the first turn, and the person didn't even consider those as options. that's definitely a bad way to approach Through the Ages. You need to have values for cards, but you cannot have such strict values that you even won't in general take Moses, for example, or won't in general take Hanging Gardens. That's not how the game works in my book. So yeah, long story short, Moses doing some work here. Takes Richland, and that's the turn. Here, I indeed still didn't seed. I didn't really want to seed this inhabited for the reasons I mentioned. It's a bit too swingy for me, and I think the value is better for him, having these guys out already and no extra yellow cubes, but I have extra yellow cubes, so it's a bit asymmetric, I guess, and I don't want to fight for this inhabited territory. And I don't have any colonization cards here either. Not a good tactic to bid on colonies. I do get Barossa, and with the correct tactic, I might consider then still playing territories like this inhabited is strategic. But yeah, I didn't see myself fighting for this inhabited. I do take Barbarossa for efficiency reasons. Can get me out of corruption. Getting a warrior out, something I might want to do anyway. I don't have information about the events he seeded so far, so getting stronger very cheaply. I would be happier with another leader, but I think it's a good moment to transition to something else from Hippocrates. I don't know when the other leaders drop. Michelangelo here, I don't really feel to pay an extra civil action for, and it's a bit questionable how much value here will give me, I think. So Barbarossa gives some concrete immediate value, and I think it's not bad. So I settle for that. Even though I don't follow up with taking Swordsman. I just don't think taking H1 military tax is a good thing in two-player. In many cases, it's not a good thing, and I just don't feel like I have the signs for it here. I would like to have them, but I don't think I have the signs in even maybe 3 or 4 turns, so I don't take them. If the second copy arrives and I have, I think it's the first one, right? The second copy arrives, or the second copy of Knight arrives, and by then the situation looks different. I might consider taking such a tech, but here, wasted value of a civil action. So I just take Grove Reserves, even not the best card, but consider it more important than the Swordsman. It enables me to certainly finish the Basilica if I want to. If I have 8 rocks like that, it still takes 7. So yeah, and maybe it's something unusual which I didn't even mention yet. I went for the 4th mine. Iron is a bit late for me, and I will not have the science for it. I will want to start with upgrading my science income with alchemies, and I kind of felt like, okay, that's the extra yellow cube that I have access to. That will be the extra rock income for now. Kind of like this decision. And yeah, I get rid of some cards, and I'm very happy to draw actually the fighting band, which makes the Barbarossa pick a lot better, I think. So now I can just it's a good tool to bid for territories now. For the strategic, which I still might then consider to seed, and for possible territories by him. And pv4 reveals development of planning. The options were civil life, religion, and crafts, and he took religion. I think it's not a no-brainer whether you take the religion or the civil life here, I guess. And yeah, crafts should be definitely worse than the other two options. Maybe in some fringe cases if it allows you to finish one or something. But generally this is a civil action and a science or something, which is very valuable. And then this is also a civil action and 3 rocks, but maybe something you don't really need or want for your civilization to have that religion. So the value of those two is pretty unclear to me. What's better? I think in the vacuum the religion might be better, but I think I will settle with something else in this specific case. Let's see, because the turn just worked out that much better with the extra civil action from civil life. So I still can't figure out how I progress the row without here, easy. I did seed the strategic territory. I didn't want a situation where I have no information about the deck whatsoever and he has the full control of it. So I know that I have one territory in there and I have a somewhat reasonable way to bid for it. I can just bid 2 or even 3 warriors. With Barbarossa it's really not that big a deal. I have irrigation in hand, I can replenish those guys. So I was willing to do that. Development of markets revealed. And now I do take the religion after all. Right. Okay. No way I did that. Okay, that's what the fuck am I watching? That's if you didn't understand what happened here, then it's fine. Let's just move on. Let's move on. What the fuck? That's what happens if you overthink things, I think. Okay. I used development of civil life to build a religion. What? What? It's solved corruption. That's the issue, I guess, right? Flawless gaming by me here. Yeah. I don't know how. I genuinely have no recollection of this. Let's move on. He forgets Isabella, which is a bit sad story, since that enables him to bid for the colony better, and it also indicates that there might be another colony, which then again is also maybe a good thing that I put a colony in myself, because if there's 2 colonies, then it often happens that one colony goes either way. It's often kind of hard to get both, even for an Isabella, or at least it will be pretty expensive. So I'm still happy with the decision. Yeah, but a bit unlucky maybe that he went for colonies apparently himself and takes Isabella for 2 here. Elects her, builds a warrior, doesn't bother with monarchy or breakthrough, but yeah, didn't really have the selections. And he has a lot of science lying around now. He can immediately go for an H2 government. I decide to not finish the wonder. I could do it with the reserves, but I don't need to do it right now. Age is not over yet. I don't need the happy face, so I can do it next turn with the EG. And I sadly don't have enough signs for the iron. So I just go for the efficiency and start upgrading an irrigation. It actually enables me to use Barbarossa next turn if I want to. And I do still take the monarchy for one civil action here. Not having a government available is simply a lose condition. If I don't take this, he gets Republic, then all of a sudden just taking common away becomes a winning move a lot of the times. So I think taking the monarchy in hand, even just as an option, even with not the concrete plan of developing it, is the right call. Just give up something like, what do I even give up? I don't even know. Maybe an upgrade here or something. So the price is not that big to pay to have this option. I draw Raiders and a colonization card, which is actually nice. Only use one Euro cube. And yeah, pv4 reveals vast territory. I was willing to bid everything. 3 warriors and a card. That means he has to pay 5. And he does so with a colonization card and 6 rocks. So it does cost him something, but it's certainly worth it. If you look at it, he had 11 rocks prior to that turn, so that's definitely correct. Upgrades can still just rebuild warrior, upgrade another iron, and it's in a very good spot here. Takes swordsman. I probably wouldn't do it. I would probably just take urban growth for cultural heritage, but yeah, having those guys available can come in handy in certain spots. And he doesn't really need the 2 signs from the cultural influence there. Yeah, there's the other territory, and here I only bid 4, not 5. I thought bidding all 3 warriors for this is a bit much. I would have probably won it for 5, and I don't think I want that, so I went for 4. 2 warriors and the card, and he did indeed pay 5. Had to pay the 2 warriors plus 3 rocks, and I think I'm fine with this. I mean, it's H2, it's very early in H2, and we are both on 2 MA, and the 3 draws are impactful. Not gonna deny that, and the 2 strength also is not that meaningless, but I am somewhat fine with the trade, so I'm indifferent here, I think. And I finished the Basilica. Start upgrading iron. Okay, I was a bit quick here. I remember this turn being very difficult because there are 2 very important cards in a row. And maybe you can spot them yourself. What do you think are the most important cards here? And they are the journalism and the strategy. And I really considered if I have to take this or if I'm very far behind if I don't take this, because if he takes it away, I don't have any Shakespeare setup nor Darwin setup. So I'm kind of railroaded into military, which is not that good in 2-player. And then there's strategy on 3, which is just, he has 15 signs. Here is we both have 2 MA. This strategy is just an S tier card. It enables him to easily play Republic on top of the strategy. The one downside, maybe if you play Republic and don't get access to strategies, the continuous 2 MA can hurt, especially in H3. Yeah, but in the end, very often when I have the feeling that there's like 2 cards which are super valuable, then I tend to dodge the decision and just go for efficiency for my own civilization, because maybe that's so close to each other that I cannot really make the right decision, and he gets the other one for cheaper. And like this, chances are he just doesn't even take both. There is a chance he takes both strategy and journalism, but there's also a chance that he doesn't do that. So I leave them in the row. I go for my own efficiency. It would be really awkward here to not start upgrading the iron by now. And then just play a reserves as my last civil action doesn't even cause corruption. So that's what I go with. Not so, that certain. This journalism is so important. Maybe that's the call, but yeah, was too difficult for me. So I just looked the other way and I didn't. Yeah, I stopped looking there and started looking here. Who knows if that's correct in this situation? I draw Conquistadors and Prosperity. Drawing something to be able to see is kind of nice. Yeah, here a sad thing happens, and that is that Republic drops. He is very perfectly set up for the Republic. And maybe I've mentioned it in my last reviews, maybe I didn't explicitly do that, but I think Republic is maybe among the 2 or 3 strongest cards in the game in two-player. In the two-player format, it's I've experienced it a lot in some training games with a friend. Yeah, getting a feel for when is it okay to leave the Republic for the opponent, and in hindsight, I think it was never okay, and it was always the better call to deny it if possible, and I think it's always the better call to take it if you can. So for here is obviously brain dead that he goes for it, but yeah, what I'm trying to say is this Republic is super impactful in two-player, and it's very good timing for him. He had this issue and being on 4 selections, and he solves it now and skyrockets his position. And now it's interesting to me, does he take strategy and journalism, or which one does he focus on? I think it's a realistic option to just take both. He still has those 3 selections. Yeah, I think I'm somewhat crying if he does, because I feel like his position is super tight then. But maybe there are reasons to consider that it's not that optimal to spend all those 3 civil actions, and that maybe leaving the journalism there is something he can afford, or even maybe the strategy. So let's see what he decides. He does take the journalism, and he does take food, because yeah, that's the price probably if he does take journalism and strategy. There's the third card that was maybe an option as a contender for an important card in the last turn. It's the selective breeding, and then I take that away, and he's stuck on no food. He did have the vast territory, and it might be playable. So it is a very interesting call here, I would say, whether you play it safe, take the irrigation, or whether you are a bit greedy and take the strategy and say, okay, if he blocks me on food, then I'm blocked on food. Because, yeah, I would do it, but I would have to pay... Oh no, it would even be on 1, right? If he takes both. Yeah, it would only be for 1 civil action. And there's the red cross in the game. So yeah, I can understand that he didn't do it. And I'm still absolutely not certain if that's the best turn here. Yeah, he went for this. Super unclear. It's not like, the strategy, it's not like I have abundant science, yeah? I can't even develop it. But yeah, goes for the irrigation in hand to not be blocked on food. Yeah, but, okay, first of all, we seed the prosperity. I think it might turn out to be a bit better for me in the mid-run, in the long run. I have the Basilica, and he will get the selective breeding. I will not pay 2 selections for here with him having the irrigation in hand. So I seed it. I reveal another territory, weighted territory, and I'm again bidding 4. I can't actually remember. I think I bid 4 and not 5. Pretty certain. Or maybe actually 5. I don't, I honestly don't remember. I think it's super close. Whether you are willing. I might remember even being willing to bid 5. But I win it for 4, just the 2 warriors and the card, and I'm super happy with that. I think the impact of this territory is also often maybe underlooked a bit, and the red cubes, the blue cubes are super valuable, especially with the setup where I have an extra mine. They come in very handy. And yeah, here is probably very, very easy turn. Take strategy and upgrade these things. Maybe rebuild the warrior. And here I actually don't rebuild the warrior. I'm a bit greedy. I want to draw 2 cards in order to be able to seed. And building the warrior doesn't even make me stronger. And also fishing maybe for a decent tactic. This tactic's really not that great. So I decided not to do it. And I think it's a mistake, as we see now. It's something that I honestly overlooked, that there can realistically be reds, and I lose 7 foot now. In the other case, I would, yeah, lose some less. It's not the end of the world, but maybe a small oversight not to build the warrior. And yeah, now, if we compare positions, I think I would choose his position any day. This is a bit better sign situation. We have the same income, but somehow he just had more signs. Just had this income a bit earlier, probably. And he does have the Shakespeare setup, and I don't have it. The only good thing is that Shakespeare didn't drop yet, and Opera didn't drop yet. So I think he's in the better position, especially because of this Republic. So let's see how he approaches this. He goes for Celebrate then, understandably. So was just a nice, interesting interaction with this. Creating this option makes that bet worse for me to take it away. Now we can still go for the Celebrate. Yeah, nice, interesting little interaction there. Strategically, tactically. Goes for the food upgrades, takes the Rev-Idea, builds a library, takes Cavalryman. And here the Ocean Liner drops for me, and yeah, maybe after all it wasn't that bad that I lost some food. You can rationalize everything, I guess, but I can just take it without corruption issues. I could solve the corruption issues also, but anyhow, I think it's correct to take it for civil actions here. Don't have any better or pressing arguments not to pay those selections here. I finished all my infrastructure here. All those cards are a little meh. Maybe navigation can be considered, but it's super expensive science-wise. I don't really have that science. And then there's the Conmon. Yeah, but I have the Monarchy in hand. I can imagine that he doesn't even take it away. The value between Common and Monarchy is... Yeah, Common is obviously better, but not that much better than the Monarchy. If I go for the Monarchy, I can realistically maybe even aim to go for an H3 government still. So... that's that. We draw Inhabited Territory 2 and a tactic, which is nice. Some aggressions. Yeah, maybe they will become relevant. pv4 populates, takes the breakthrough, takes another breakthrough. Power of the Republic. Develops Cavalryman, takes navigation, builds Cavalryman, and reveals mobile artillery. So he already has a tactic and aims to be efficient with his military actions here. And now it's an interesting question. We have one event here, that's the Raiders, and there's an interesting question here whether those events by him are strength events or neutral events. And in my view it was super likely because I think one of those events he played right now, didn't he? Or last turn, yeah, where it was already conceivable that he could aim to be stronger with the tactic in hand and yeah, it's hard to summarize, but I thought the last one could very likely be a strength event, and the first one was very early in H2. Could rather be a neutral one, maybe something like actually the science income or scientific breakthrough or yeah, anything. In another colony even he took the navigation in hand here, right? So there's the developed territory and historic, the inhabited we have seen. So yeah, that was my guess. One strength event and one neutral. And yeah, that's his turn. He indeed doesn't even take the command away, so I can take it in hand. I finish the ocean liner here, and that's the turn. It annoyingly means that I can't take the opera here. Which can realistically create a state where he just takes the opera for 3 and then I'm completely locked out of culture income and I am completely locked in on military all-in. But that was something I was already willing to do because also my setup is now kind of strong militarily. We have a lot of the military actions, strategy plus conmon, and yeah, like some science for the techs, but I think it's a setup where I can actually get very strong. So Theresa is here. I don't think he wants to go for her. He might go for her. It might actually be the correct call here because I have no setup just for either Shakespeare nor Darwin. So maybe that's the leader with the most value here for in the zero sum game. Of course he wants Shakespeare. But maybe in the zero sum, the Theresa is just better. But somehow I thought I would get her anyway, so with that, I can aim to be very strong. We draw refugees, another tactic. And pv4 goes for the navigation, gets stronger like this. Very conveniently, just with attack. Takes cannons, develops cannons. Yeah, those both breakthroughs doing huge work here, and is still super efficient with his H2 MA. So one problem here is the lack of MA, and doesn't take opera for 3. I also didn't think he would do that. Takes it here for 1, and annoyingly puts the other opera here, which means I would have to pay 2 civil actions for that. And yeah, we can look if that's even what I do, and I think I don't. I don't want to see it. Not certain yet about those refugees. He started to get stronger now. Yeah, not certain about some possible events that could maybe destroy my turns, like call to arms is something that I really don't want to face. So yeah, I wait with that. I think I have to take the riflemen. If I don't get them, I can't realistically go for this mobile artillery. I even already skipped the cavalrymen. So I have to take those riflemen, which means there's no way I'm getting this opera. And I also probably have to, or want to be actually, yeah, in the end I decide to just upgrade them all. I want to be efficient with my MA also. I don't want to use all those military actions in H3. So I do that now, which also makes me stronger and contests possible strength events. Last civil action is taking the urban growth. P4 takes a wave of nationalism for 3. Organized religion to have a happiness solution. And actually goes for it. Still H2 and yeah, still uses a military action here to get stronger also. And here I contemplated very long if I want to seat the refugees. And in the end I thought positive possibilities outweigh the risks. there's maybe two events that I really don't want to reveal. That would be Call to Arms and Border Conflict. Border Conflict is super annoying because I have to rebuild the religion or spend one of those, which I don't want. Call to Arms would, let's see what actually still drops here. Now we have seen that I actually seeded. I was willing to take the gamble. Code of Laws would, a Call to Arms would destroy the possibility of taking this Rev Idea. This is a card that I immediately placed my eyes on when it dropped, and I still have to take cannons. So yeah, Call to Arms would destroy that. But at least it would give me some H3 cards extra. And most other events I was not so wary of. I don't think, for example, Reign of Terror or the Uncertain Borders are that impactful. It's annoying, but it's not that impactful to lose them. And then there's just a chance that we are talking about one of the neutral or even positive events for me, like Knowledge of the Ancients would enable me to develop Conmon with the help of Theresa's, also some signs. And I think that's the final reason why I tried it. Knowledge of the Ancients, or Scientific Breakthrough, or the Developed Territory, which would all be kind of nice to reveal, I think, and that's why I see it. Also, I think it's pretty likely that I'm winning those refugees. It's also part of the reasoning. It's pretty likely in my book, in this situation, that I'm winning the refugees at some point. Yes, so I see it, and it's the Raiders. Sadly, no new information. Also, maybe luckily I didn't get destroyed here. So I indeed can take this Rare Idea, super important card. I can take cannons. And now is also an interesting decision. Am I playing conservatively here with my military actions? Because I think, okay, I need to draw a war. Or am I actually trying to be annoying and go for the full build up and actually try to aim for aggressions? And I have no idea what's better. And I went with the build up. I thought the reasoning for that is that if I don't do it, he can freely build 2 operas now, more or less freely. And like this, he has to react. And if he has 1 defense card, he has to build 2 units in order to defend. If he has 2 defense cards, he has only to build 1 unit and can still build an opera. The chance for 2 defense cards, I actually tried it so much that I calculated it. It was 28%, and the chance for at least 1 was 70% or something. So I was willing to apply that pressure here and do the build up and not let him freely build operas here with Shakespeare. At the very big cost of 2 H3 draws. So yeah. Draw that defense card. Seems kind of irrelevant. Or yeah, maybe it's better than some other cards. Maybe it's not that irrelevant if there still is a colony here. But yeah, I wasn't too happy with this. I would like to see a war. Or the positional army, obviously. But yeah. So we see pv4 gets access to, on top of the wave, the military build-up, which is a bit, yeah, it's a lot of rocks he gets there. And does take Shakespeare. Or did he have them? Yeah, it's his first actions. He took Shakespeare. And then he indeed builds 2 units, which, telegraphs that he has 1 defense card. Might also be bluff, and he indeed has 0, so there's still the 28%. It was weirdly symmetric, those chances. The 28% chance that he has no defense card, and especially since I didn't draw anything here, I was willing to test that. I think winning a spy here would be super good. Might even mean that I decide to go for the democracy because I could then do that. So spy it is. Also only one military action cost, and he does have the defense card. I do take this architecture in hand here. Oh, okay, this start of a3. Super difficult turns, always the most difficult turns in the game in my book. So many options I could. So there's Fleming. Let's look at this. The game is super close. He has the better potential to start building a lot of culture now with Shakespeare. Very cheaply. He has all the ingredients for that. But as of now, we are still in a range where we could also just say we contest this game culturally. So I did consider everything here, obviously. Just taking democracy is the better government than Conmon. Taking multimedia for 3 here, I could actually build one with her. I get 1 science, and then I build it, ocean liner, develop. I take it, develop it, ocean liner, build it. Would be a turn. Yeah. In the end, what did I do? I don't remember. so this too many options. I don't know. I went actually with the Conmon. I thought I don't really have the science for an A3 government here, and then it felt wrong to go for this democracy. And I populated, took the urban growth. Yeah, I went for a kind of efficiency turn here, I guess, and thought maybe I get the multimedia for cheaper. I cannot imagine him, after already having spent civil actions on denying a journalism, spending 3 civil actions on denying the multimedia in a game where I look to go for war anyway. Couldn't imagine that. So I was willing to chill a turn and maybe go for it next turn. And then I also considered taking EG for 2 instead of architecture here for 1, but that would put the multimedia on 2, and I also just don't have the science for that engineering, so for him it's also maybe a bit awkward to commit 9 science to the engineering, so I didn't consider it ultimately important enough. And yes, the Red Cross may be worth mentioning. I didn't really have the situation to realistically build that, to realistically spend all those civil actions for that. And I think neither does he, so ultimately it passes in this situation. Agriculture in progress, that's very nice to see some impacts. I mean, agriculture is something I don't get culture of. Progress depends on what happens now. It depends. And one bad thing happens. I think that's the card that absolutely fixes his entire position. This his one weakness he has. Can go for the military here. Military theory here. Develop it. Play military build up. Bam, bam. And now he's at 46 strength. And I'm the one who has to be careful not to die. And earlier there was a decision where I kept the aggressions and put out the defense card, and now I'm a bit sad because I can't defend an aggression like this. Yeah, 53. But that meant, again, 1 turn of not committing to opera. This now telegraphs pretty strongly that there's significant strength events here. Yeah, but it does fix all his weaknesses, but he also didn't build upon his strength of having Shakespeare and getting his culture engine going. So it comes with a cost, at least. This is, yeah, he is ahead, but it's not that much. So it's a very tight game here. And still, yeah, totally not happy to see this military drop, obviously. And we talked about the progress, made his progress better, and yeah. Yeah, I can't defend. I can act as if I can defend for a bit, one thing. And here I went for the cannon instead of a rifleman, maybe in order to telegraph a possible. Yeah, that's the mind games here. Telegraph the possibility that I have the positional army. And then there's some fringe case where that signals if I don't reveal it, if I don't show it to you now, then I can defend. Yeah? Can you follow me? Yeah, I know it's a loose thread, but maybe also for the chance of still drawing it, I went for this. I don't know if it's a good decision because in some cases you just lack riflemen then if you need to defend the war. So that's a commitment here. Yeah, questionable maybe, but maybe it does something in his mind, you know, some mind games there. So yeah, and also again, what a turn actually, and there's air forces, and I think I have to take them for 3. I think if he gets them now, I mean, okay, so far he has only drawn 1 H3 card. I'm not actually afraid that that is a war. I shouldn't be. It can be, but in a game where I cannot assume that that's a war. That's nonsense. A game where I have to win some bets. But still, I think I need to take this Air Force because even if that's not the war, now he has no real other plans anyway. He can just build a lot of Air Forces in 1 or 2 turns, and then if he draws a war, he has a reasonable chance for that. I think I'm done. So I pay 3 civil actions for this here. Yeah, but I thought a long time about this, and I'm still not entirely certain if it's the best turn to do that. There might be the cases where the second one just drops right after that. There might be some cases where I get the positional army and the war, and that is the winning move. So, yeah, I don't know. Close call. I also paid 2 civil actions for multimedia here. I do want this option now for next turn. Because, as we said, this is still culturally pretty tight. And I do want to have this option now to generate some culture. There's also Einstein. Who can help me compete in a culture game. So yeah, actually I did nothing this turn but take cards. The patriotism is also just super important, I think, I feel. If he gets the second copy of Air Forces, if he high rolls the war, then I just lose. If he has this patriotism, I think. And then that's somehow the risk I don't want to take. On the other hand, if I get the right draws, maybe even I can be dangerous still with the war. So yeah. With my mind games, there's no way he tries an aggression here, right? And he doesn't. He seeds, reveals the Crusades. Maybe yet no aggression. And the Crusades are super impactful here. It's a swing of 16 culture. He wins 8 on me. Winning versus losing that swing of 16. And yeah, that makes the picture a bit different here with the culture gap. But it's still in a reach of 1 or 2 impacts, 1 or 2 good impacts, which we did draw the impact of strength, which is actually quite nice to have in second position. Always those 10 culture impacts are very mighty, because you can just see on the last turn if that's something you can see or not. And here he indeed goes for an opera, and only 1. His commitment here with his strength did come with a big cost, and I actually don't know. It's maybe not a bit of an overcommitment. He needs the second opera in my book out. Actually, yeah, it somehow turned out in a way where maybe it was not good for him after all that this theory dropped. Uh, yeah, but also I'm not really serious with that. It was good for him, but yeah, it came with the cost of they're still not two operas. Shakespeare didn't really work, and the game is almost approaching the end. Nonetheless, he's ahead. He is ahead. There's uncertain borders, so it was 2 strength events, but yeah, the uncertain borders maybe not that impactful actually. Could be very, yeah, a lot worse. And here indeed, I do decide to go for Einstein, and I actually played reserves on food in order to be able to develop both architecture and the multimedia. It's just an extra culture then with Theresa already, and then it's some rocks already, and then I kind of skipped over the decision to put the impact of progress into the deck because it's quite promising now, and it's actually still weaker like this, but it's not that unlikely that I just get free access to the satellites and then it's already better. I think like this is equal, and yeah, with the satellites I win 6 culture or something. Well, something like that. So I go for this multimedia, which actually comes also with a dangerous cost maybe of not being able to develop air forces. So if he did high roll, have a war here, gets the air forces, he has the Reverdier, then he can build 1 air force and declare war. And I'm not really in the position of defending that war without air forces, or not in the great position. Maybe with the correct tactic then, but yeah, it goes to 63 and I have to, maybe I could even, I didn't really consider it that closely, but I would have to spend everything and build like 1,000 riflemen. But yeah, a bit annoying not to be able to develop those air forces next turn. It also diminishes my aggressive potential, right? I can't, if I draw a war here, realistically declare it without those air forces. But I still think going for this approach is the only one that keeps me in the game culturally, so I have to do it. He did draw a plunder, which is quite annoying. It's a big swing in 7 resources here. He does get his second opera out, takes multimedia, develops it upgraded, takes the reserve. Yeah, and here I thought it's not looking so good until I realized, wait, I can end the game. Because if I think somehow this feels like if it goes for another 2 games, 2 turns. Yeah, also here the last wonder is very relevant. I think that was also my first intuition. Yeah, damn, I didn't get that. It's very likely, he's very likely to get it now. Even if I don't touch a card, then it's 50-50 for him to get it. Yeah, but then I realized I can just end the age and maybe just win like this. He doesn't have the resources, nor the civil actions, depending on where the wonder lands, to build it. But yeah, more importantly, not the resources. He doesn't have the resource to build the fast food chains. Yeah, if he had, I think this would be super complicated, because then there's, if I end the age, there is 2 of 6, so 1 in 3 chance that the wonder lands here, and then he could take it for 3. Oh no, he could still not do it. He would need to have the 16 rocks already available, not with the reserves. Okay, but if he didn't upgrade this, maybe that would be a possibility. Then it's super unclear if I can end the age, or if that's a gamble I have to do. It gets very complicated. But like this, after a while I realized, okay, he has no impact here. I have 1. I know it already gains me some culture. After my turn is 60 to 73. I'm 13 behind. I have a 10 culture impact in hand. I, as you see, did decide not to seed because it's a bit unclear, all those other impacts here. Architecture and agriculture are just bad for me. And if I seed the strength now, I don't really gain anything from it because yeah, I think in any game state where I just seed the impact of strength in the last turn, I win. So I think if I seed it now, it creates some game states where he seeds, opens the refugees, he's stronger, and that's 6 culture extra for him, and he has an impact of culture or something, then yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm also uh, not very precise here if I look at it again. But yeah, I felt looking like at it, I didn't see the necessity of seeding, and just postponing it to the last turn felt super safe, and I end the age. I'm at 66. Got the impact of technology, but that's also equal for both. And yeah, he has no impact in. He comes to the conclusion that he has to try this armed intervention. 1 defense card was enough, by the way. I just showed both, but 1 would have sufficed. 48 and then 2 for 5 is 53. Just needed to use some cards. And yeah, he has to take it away even, because I can build it if I take it, and it's 25 culture for me, so he doesn't even have his best turn available. Goes for some culture increase, which means now I can seed and just reveal the prosperity. I didn't even need to seed, I already knew that I won, but yeah, I put it in. I think it's still something like my best turn here to put that strength in and very efficiently win that. And yeah, somehow, all of a sudden, the entire game I felt like I was behind, really. And all of a sudden, I wasn't, and the game was won. Super awkward somehow. It's super hard for me to put my finger on what happened here, but somehow I won the game. Yeah, let me know how I did it, because I have some. I tried to offer some explanations. I think there were some crucial decisions when to put pressure, and uh, some timing things, like taking this multimedia in hand was probably very important. Then maybe pv4. I just come back to this military theory drop being a trap again. Maybe it was. I don't know. So maybe I was also just wrong in the assumption that I was behind in this game, because I had many things also going for me with this wonder, with this ocean liner, the wealthy territory. Yeah, maybe I was never really as far behind as I felt during the game. During the game, I felt I'm losing it, but yeah. What do you think? Did you have the yeah, impression that I was losing this, or did you think it was looking super safe? That question is apparently too difficult to answer for me. That was the first game, so no big point in showing the standings now. I think only one other game has concluded. We can look at that next time, and I guess that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next game.